Anyone trying to find me? Won't somebody come take me home? Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a VeVe, OMI, DEFFINITY, DEVVE, daCat, SHIRO update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon. Smash that super thanks button down below. Super chats as well. I just got done shooting my shot, messaging a gal named Michelle Ivy, who is a very big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, possibly the biggest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan in the entire world. Spent her life, or big kid / adult life, collecting all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle memorabilia, eating pizza all the time. Just this gal is obsessed with TMNT, and the reason why I did is because I made a video last night, 2 nights ago, about what we could possibly get, what VeVe was possibly teasing, and it ranged from, again, my guess was like a coin, like S, San Francisco US Mint, Supernatural. There was other people that said Street Fighter, because David, now that we're on Instagram, we'll go search for David Yu, and he had posted today. Oh, his post ran out. So he had posted something this morning, and it was like Street Fighter stuff. It was like kids at a tournament. It's like, okay, Street Fighter, maybe it's that. I have no idea. But then somebody posted, I think earlier today, about a city sewer, and how the S looks very similar to the lining. It says city sewer, so I mean that S. Obviously, that's where the turtles live. And what they did on X is that VeVe had cut off the top of the S and the bottom of the S, so you couldn't see what was above or below it. And maybe it could have been a bad, crop job, or it could have been like, hey, there's something that would give it away. And if you saw the lines, that probably would have given it away. I think that's the thumbnail of this video. I'm going to see if I can. Yeah, you see the lines. It's cropped pretty badly, but if you go and take a look, oh, that's why they did that, because it would have been, you would have been able to tell it pretty easily. So again, this is not confirmed. Again, David had, he had posted something about Street Fighter earlier today on Instagram, and it wasn't like a new license coming. It was just about like a Street Fighter tournament. So I was like, okay, that's really cool. Maybe it's that, but God, if it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we got to get that girl. The heck's her name? Michelle. I just shot her a message. Michelle Ivy. So TMNT is releasing a jewelry collection on October 17th. That's the first thing that she posted today. Second thing is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a talking head. Oh, that's so cool. So anyway, Cowabunga Corner says, I'm a big TMNT fan who enjoys sharing TMNT facts, history, events, interviews, and reviews. Please check out our stories with 3 to 5 posts a week. Pretty awesome. And she's followed by Veronica Taylor. Oh my God. So first off, Veronica Taylor, the OG voice of Ash Ketchum. So I love her. Second off, she was at Comic-Con this weekend, and somebody had said, hey, can you say this in Ash's voice? And she said, release the Epstein files. Like that was the greatest thing that I saw. I think probably all, that was probably the greatest thing that I had seen all weekend. And there was a lot of great stuff to be had. Sorry, just didn't know these people followed me. Didn't know that. You know what? I'd fucking no fucking way. Excuse me. Sorry, 1 second. See what the selfie dragged in. Jesus. Okay. Anyway, let's continue on here. Made huge in the 80s. My first introduction to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is probably on Super Nintendo, where you had, was it Turtles in Time? One of the Super Nintendo games on there. That was actually one of the best games. That and the Simpsons game, where you could play 4 people in one arcade game. That was really heckin' cool. That was, oh God, 90s, good times. Then you had a kind of a crossover between the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers. That was epic. Obviously, you had the movies. There's been a couple of shows, a couple of movies from the movies back in the day. You had the new movies with kind of Megan Fox, and I think Whoopi Goldberg's in that as well. So that was really cool. Megan Fox plays April O'Neil. I think there's some other stuff that's going on. They just had a collab with Magic the Gathering, which is really cool. If it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm in. I can't wait. I'd love to get that bread. Comment down below if you would as well. Soppy number 5 called dibs on Donatello. I said, what? Been waiting so long. Yeah, there was somebody, I posted this on Facebook before. Stan Bukasa says, I've been waiting for TMNT since March of 2021. He's been ready for that. Oh, wow. You know what breath play is? I kind of just found out. We never called it that back in the day. It's choking during sex, but like for real. So I don't know if I can do that for real. It's a big one. Okay. Anyway. Eccles 7125. I think it's Street Fighter. It could, again, David did post that today. So it could be Street Fighter. I mean, that's not really an announcement though. We've like had that for years, right? I don't know what the deal is with the licensor. Like, again, supposedly we've had that for quite a long time. And I do remember Jurassic Park, whoever owns Jurassic Park, like, yeah, we had this license for a while, but let's wait for the movie to come out. And we did, and it was fine. It worked. They made money. Speaking of making money, the Darth Vader had sold out, the Samurai Darth Vader, and I don't think I had gone over that yet. So I'm going to take a look at, see exactly how much money they grossed with that. So we're going to go to the drops. There was a drop today, Ultraman. I don't think it did that well. $15 per one. Let's see how many editions sold out. 96. So it made about $1,400. Yeah. I mean, it's issue number 7, so never mind. We have to go back to last month because that's when Samurai Vader was. It was on the 21st of September, and let's see how many of them. This did sell out. 2960. Damn. $148,000. Clap it up for VeVe with that. I thought it was too expensive. I think it was, but apparently it wasn't. I took them a month, but they sold out. Granted, they were half sold out in like a day, right? But the rest of it, I think people were just really trying to get that secret rare because that was a big chase. Even the ultra rare, I think, was above. I think that was above retail. But Mahalo says, "I do kick. If it's TMNT, just take my money now." This is a really big. I mean, so a lot of stuff from the '80s does really well. RoboCop. I remember that doing really well. We don't have Terminator. But I think Rambo did okay. Yeah, we don't have Terminator. That'd be cool if we could do a couple of those. But what could we do here? Okay. I feel like back in the 80s and 90s, it was just like, here's one toy. You have to buy. It was like it was our original DLC, right? It was like, okay, let's batteries not included, other things not included. Like you have to buy them like separately. So you could get the 4 Ninja Turtles. You could go in and, I mean, the headbands are probably included in that, right? Are the weapons included in that? Do you have to go? Because I mean, like we have lightsabers that are separate from the like. But we already have Obi-Wan Kenobi. We already have Luke with and without his lightsaber. The Skywalker one. Well, he's got his Jedi Master one though. He doesn't have his father's. Either way, we have certain weapons like lightsabers, and they don't have owners. Maybe the first thing that we do is, and maybe they gamify it by saying like, okay, whoever weapons you get, you can choose to, maybe you get on a wait list to get who owns those weapons or vice versa. And then maybe you can burn, I don't know if you would burn it. Because I mean, I'm sure they have other weapons that they've used. I think I remember at least once where they've used other weapons. And I'm not talking about like the shitty, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the second movie. Because after the first movie, and again, the first movie, of TMNT was pretty freaking cool. Like that was dope, right? But then a bunch of parents complained that it was too violent, as if Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was not going to be violent. And they're like, oh, the weapons are too like adult. So in the second one, they had them beat up ninjas and other stuff without their weapons, and they just did it with like household stuff. It was the stupidest thing. Like the parents in the 80s and 90s were, what the heck was wrong with y'all? Anyway, you have, trying to think here. I know they have used other weapons, but I don't think it would make sense to finally get the weapons that they're known for just to burn them for that. But I think they could gamify it if they want to. You have the turtles, you could have the weapons sold separately. I think they would come with a bandana. You might even have like, and they could do like actual action figure type stuff where in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like all of their bandanas were red. Like in the OG like comic, like they were all red. Ooh, sorry, excuse me. I forgot to put a protein shake in here. Oh, that was good. You obviously have April O'Neil. I mean, if we're gonna go with other characters, you know, you have Shredder. I don't know if obviously the Ooze. I forget what the Ooze is called. Now, I'm not like the biggest TMNT fan, but I'm gonna just Google something here real quick. Oh, there, Super Shredder, Doi. I feel like back in the day, like the 90s cartoon, 80s cartoon, the villains were made specifically to sell toys. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, 84 to present. Okay, of course. You get some more characters here. Okay. Yeah, we got that. If I didn't mention Splinter already, my B. He was the pet rat of Ninja Master Hamoto Yoshi. Oh, love Yoshi. All right, anyway. After that, obviously I mentioned April. Oh, Casey Jones. Yeah, he's got the like the Jason mask, like the hockey mask. Like he's pretty dope. Not gonna lie, Casey Jones is pretty freaking sweet. I'd be more excited for Casey Jones than like Shredder, like because he's cool. Then you have Super Shredder too. You could have Foot Clan soldiers. The Shredder's second command is Karai. I actually don't know who this dude is. Is that a chick? Oh yeah, she is a high-ranking member of the Foot Clan. So they could probably have drops for a while for this because this is a big IP. In some versions, Shredder allies with Baxter Stockman, who's a mad scientist, and Krang, who's an alien warlord from Dimension X. Krang was introduced in the OG animated series, inspired by the Ultron race from comics, and sometimes depicted as Ultron himself. Shredder's buffoonish henchmen, Bebop and Rocksteady, Mutant Warhog. Oh yeah, I remember those dudes. They were cool. I think people would like those. So again, they could probably have drops for quite a long time with this. And those are just kind of some of the main characters. There's obviously other ones. You could have movie versions. You could have other. Anyway, Swampy says TMNT. How did they handle change? How did my handle change? Tammy Hannah was talking about that the other day too. She's like, "Why is it coming up as Tammy Hannah 15?" I was like, "I don't know. Is your name on YouTube?" Yeah. Let me see if it works on mine. What does mine say? Well, I'll tell you. Oh gosh. Oh, Bill Gardner. Thank you for the super chat. Let's not forget the last Ronin. Oh, Believes Crypto. How's it going, Pam? I haven't heard from Manu give me one sec. I'll let you know. Since we had a call on October 1st. And then I messaged him on the 4th saying, hey, here's Believes, ... He didn't receive that. And then on the 7th, I wished him a happy birthday, and he didn't write back. He ignored me. I mean, I know he's super busy, but I'll keep you posted on that. Oh God, there's other. Oh my God. All right, so I have to. All right, first off, let's not forget the last Ronin. That's true. That's a good one. It's a good one. But let me type in meow and see where it goes. Oh yeah, it says @real Randy Chavez. So it's. Oh, okay. Hang on. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail here, Believes. Good. feeling. I'ma have the best heckin' night of my life. Copy URL whenever it takes me. I'm down for the ride. Baby, don't you know I'm good? Yeah, I'm feeling alright. Meow, 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 meow. And sending. Why does it say Nutsverturd? Well, let's go with Nutsverturd. And then let's go over here. And we will reshare this. We'll requote it and be like, let's welcome app the Bleebies. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. All right, repost, viewing post, sending now. Okay, we're good. We're Gucci. Yeah, last round. So again, there's a bunch of things that they could do for. I wonder if Bleeves is a fan of TMNT. He might be. He might be. Once he comes on, I'll have people go in and follow him. But before he gets on, okay. So Sparky posted a photo saying, "Don't know what I'd do without them." Talking about me and Tammy Hannah, and I thought it was a very nice photo. I thought we all looked fine. She says, "Truly my besties." Hashtag VeVe fam. Tammy says, "Two of my favorite people," which is also nice. And Sparky says, "Dad and Mom." And I said, like, "I'm 3 years older than you." And she says, "Oh my God, you're only 34?" As if I look that old. So I requoted that. And first I said dog. And then Doc, oh God, yeah. God damn. Anyway, I requoted that. And I said, "I am going to live at the gym, add to stage. 1 second, Mr. Bleaves. I'm going to work out for the second time today because holy heck, I was not ready for that unexpected heat." All right, so please, this one dear friend of mine who apparently didn't know how old I was, she said, "You are," and this is the photo she used. She's like, "Oh, some of my two best friends, and for life, aka mom and dad." I know I'm three. But Tammy's 50, so like, okay, 31 to 50. Yeah, I guess she could be, but I'm 34, and she didn't know that I was 34. So I worked out twice today, and I've dieted. I'm locking the F in, Bleaves. How you doing?
I'm down 110 pounds. I'm doing really good.
Yes, I can go.
Yeah.
What is it? HIIT training? Is it just diet? Is it just a combination of everything? What's got you locked in?
So I started with my fat ass eating healthy, and it wasn't going very fast, but I was losing a little bit of weight. Then I switched and I started taking Ozempic because I started reading up on it, and I'm not a drug person. Like, I take caffeine sometimes, but and creatine, but I really didn't do anything. Then I realized it's a peptide. Then I started doing peptide research, and now I'm fascinated by peptides. And I'm like, wow, this is actually really amazing because a peptide is basically an amino acid, most of them naturally occurring in your body in some fashion. The peptide for Ozempic actually occurs in your stomach, but because your stomach acid kind of eats it up, you only get like a small portion of it into your bloodstream. Well, when you increase the flow of that amino acid, then you lose a lot of weight. So I started with just, I switched, I started Ozempic. Then while I was doing that, again, I started reading up on peptides and stuff like that. And there was a healing agent called BPC 157. So I bought some of that, and I started taking that. Then I thought, I really want to amp this up. Like, I really want to get focused and locked in. So I started using a growth hormone peptide called Sermorelin, which was a first gen peptide. It wasn't very good, but it was good. And then I switched to ipamorelin. There's another one for burning like stomach fats called tesamorelin.
Oh,
but
need that.
I'm not right now in that lane. The lane that I'm in right now is just to continue to build muscle, to get stronger, stuff like that. And then if I need to hone in later, I'll switch to tesamorelin. Currently, I just swapped my stack. So once a week, I take Ozempic. And I take, I want to say like 2 milligrams per week. I needed to go off of it for a little while, let my body get ready for another, I'll cycle it. But I switched my BPC 157 to something called GHKCU, which is some sort of growth hormone that includes something called, so it includes copper. And I don't know why that's important. I started reading up on it, but I have gray stubble right here. It fixes your gray stubble. It turns your hair back into its natural colors. So I'm gonna try that for a little while, but really it's just and Bill Gardner, by the way, is wrong. Ozempic is not part of Gila venom. What he's talking about right now is called tirzepatide, and the GLP-2 in tirzepatide is it's from the amino acid that's found inside the Gila monster. So it's Ozempic is not, tirzepatide is, and I think that's called Zepbound, something like that. And it's called GLP-2 because it attacks 2 different receptors. And yeah, one of those receptors. And by the way, it doesn't come from a Gila monster. Like, everybody should recognize right now that if you think they're like have Gila monster farms somewhere where they're like getting tirzepatide from, then you are not thinking clearly, and you need to quit smoking that shit because it's making your brain rot. What they do is they get the peptide, they find the branch chain, whatever they need, and then they just manufacture it in a lab.
I had to Google what a Gila monster was, and it's a gnarly looking thing.
Gila monster is those are some nasty creatures. Yeah, those are some nasty creatures.
They're venomous?
Slow.
Oh yeah, they are venomous.
Really
Oh shit. Yeah, obviously they got venom. That was a dumb question. Damn.
Yeah.
Where the hell do these guys live?
Ozempic comes from your stomach. That's part. There's a stomach. There's something. The Ozempic comes from your stomach. It's a peptide that grows in the human body. That's a GLP-1. The GLP-2 comes from that Gila monster.
Okay, so I just found out that they're in Arizona.
Arizona, yeah.
I message a friend and be like, "Hey, do y'all have these in your area?"
Yeah, we don't have Gila. We don't have Gila monster farms where they're farming it for weight loss. You know what I mean? Like you build everything in a lab right now. All you need to do is have the chemicals. There's 115 chemicals. You just need to have those 115 chemicals on hand, and you can put them together and create whatever it is that you want. You know what I mean?
Okay, good to know. I also, yeah, I have the only I don't want to say I take a lot of supplements, so creatine. But I had read that creatine, even without like working out, even without like that, it's still good for brain health. And then again, even without, they did this in seniors, so
probably not for you because you're 31,
34,
or 34. Yeah, it's probably not for you. But and by the way, you're supposed to take, I want to say, somewhere in the neighborhood of to be effective, I think it's something like 25, 30 grams a day.
I'm doing like 10
for your brain health.
Okay.
Not spending that much money. I mean, could you imagine how excited everybody in the creatine community got when they were like, oh, instead of 5 grams, you need 30? Cha-ching, baby. What a great idea. I take 15 grams a day. I split the difference. So I do 5. When I get up in the morning, I have an energy drink, which I pour some water into a cup. And then I have like a little, like, it's a lemonade strip with some caffeine in it. And I throw that into I throw that into some water.
Yeah.
And then I have that. And then I, get ready. I do video content, stuff like that, get my show ready, do all the pieces that I need to do for the day. And then before I go to the gym, I take another drink, only this time I don't have caffeine in it. I just have creatine in it and beta alanine to give you that kind of lift.
What's the beta alanine?
Beta alanine, yeah. And then fiber. I put fiber in each one. I put 2 scoops of fiber in every single drink. And then I put 5 grams in. And then when I get done working out, I come back home and I do the same thing again without the beta alanine. I just put in some more fiber into a drink. And then I put in another 10 grams of creatine. And then I've got my 15 for the day.
Okay, cool. I remember I'm not a cook. I'm not in the kitchen. I guess I didn't know the difference between a teaspoon, like a tablespoon. And the first time I took creatine, I just took like way too much and it made my tummy all blah. But then I was like, oh, I can kind of eyeball it with the cap, and I put a little bit in there. And long story short, I'm good with it now. But yeah, it's only 10 grams. But even with seniors, they had even if they're not working out, they still have like for brain, yes, but also like increase in like quad muscles. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Even if they're not working out, it's like, huh.
Well, it's just water. I mean, the purpose of creatine is to allow for water retention. So your brain is the biggest muscle in your body. So it stands to reason that it's going to benefit from creatine in some way. So, I mean, it made perfect sense. When somebody said it, I was like, that's the most obvious thing I've ever heard in my life.
I didn't, I guess it was so obvious. I had never thought of it because I started taking it in like 2016 when I just wanted to become like a monster. It's like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take a bunch of stuff. And then I kind of fell off it for a while. And then, do you know Dr. Rhonda Patrick, or at least know who she is?
I mean, I know her and her mole.
Who's her mole? Oh, you mean like her actual like just face?
She's got a mole on her face.
I love her. She's like I don't know. She's so smart. I love the stuff that she says. So she
see that's my thing. I don't know that she's smart. I don't know that Andrew Huberman is smart. I just like some of the things that they say. I you know, there are certain things that I've done through my life that I 100% agree. Like that makes absolute sense to me. Like when she said you need to be taking like 20 or 25 grams of creatine, I was like, no, I don't. Then she started to explain why, because she was where it came from. Like that was where the creatine thing came from. And I mean, she didn't do the study, but she just, you know, she posted about the study on YouTube. And what she was saying made a lot of sense, that it's the largest muscle in your body. Why wouldn't you, you know? So it's actually a great idea. And for whoever said that it causes them to, so part of the, creatine makes me have diarrhea badly and makes me feel bloated. Okay. So for somebody like that, or somebody going through something like that, the simple answer is you need more fiber in your diet, and you need to have some magnesium. So a magnesium supplement would probably do you very good, and eating a lot of fiber, because if you're getting diarrhea from creatine, it's because your body doesn't have what it needs to begin with.
Yeah. So I'm actually on magnesium supplements as well. Magnesium, folate, especially when I go like keto, or at least very low carb. Folate's definitely good for that. And then vitamin D, because I don't go outside a lot, and when I do, I'm brown, so it doesn't absorb as much.
I do magnesium, I do zinc, and then I do a vitamin D with calcium citrate in it.
What's the difference between like just normal calcium and calcium citrate? I'm not familiar.
I don't know what the difference is. Like it was available at that point, and like my wife ordered it online for me. You know,
cool.
And you know what? I just so happen to be tuning in from the gym. I can't even go, like, I have transformed my body so quickly that I can't even work out without being interrupted anymore. First of all, people know who I am because of my channel, and because I wear my Bleach Crypto hoodie and shit like that all the time when I'm working out. I want people to know. But now it's like, dude, look at you. You're getting jacked everywhere. Your arms are bulging. Your chest is, you know, like your back is huge. Your waist is thin. Like you have absolutely transformed your body. When I tell them I've lost 110 pounds, they're like, what's the secret? So yeah, it is very difficult to work out at the gym anymore, which is a great thing. I mean, it's a great problem to have, but you know,
as crypto hits, you gotta either build yourself a private gym or go to one of those gyms that charge like $150 a month and kind of weed out the cracked out 15-year-olds on pre-workout.
One of my buddies has their own private gym. I just don't want to go work out with her because she kind of, you know, like nobody works out like me. You know, most people suck at working out. You know what I mean? Like people just really suck at working out. I am like, when it comes to working out and form and stuff like that, strength wise, I'm over 50. So I'm never going to be super, super strong anymore. I'm done with trying to be stronger. But when it comes to form and stuff like that, I am locked in. Like you were saying a few minutes ago, I am absolutely locked in on doing everything I can the absolute right way, no matter how painful, no matter how much it hurts, whatever. I just do it.
Like the Nike slogan of old. Agreed. So,
you know, I when I see people do their curls, they do their curls and they just do it like this, and like there's nothing wrong with that, But if you're trying to curl, like the proper way to curl is bring this up to your face. Because when you do that, what you do is you pull yourself up here and then you flex, and it creates flexion right here at the tip of your bicep. And then the weight pulling down causes your muscle to flex even harder. I'm all about, like, find me the absolute best way that I can work my muscles out to get the absolute best effect. And when I find that, that's what I lock into. So like when I do my curls, it's all the way up here and then it's all the way back down really, really slow. You know what I mean? Like it's all the way up, do this, and then it's all the way back down.
When you do that, are they like on a cable or do you do free weights like that? Because
I do both.
I don't know.
I do. I don't do the same thing all the time. Like I start off on my workout. If I gave you and you start doing my workout, you'd be like, we would be at the beginning of a show before it goes live, and you'd be like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. I hate you. This is bullshit. Because on my, like today I did biceps, but I did my back day. So I'm doing all of my back workout, and then I do my biceps with a heavy weight. So I'm doing heavy curls today. Tomorrow is going to be my arm day where I'm going to do light curls and then light extensions. Yesterday was chest and tricep. And today was also shoulders. So I work out heavy.
Back, shoulders, and biceps. That's a long day.
I work out heavy on those days. And then I have a light day mixed in where I do arms, and I do, you know, like instead of doing 120-pound reps, I do 60-pound reps for like 20. You know what I mean? And then I go up to about 65 and I do like 18. Then I go up a little bit more and I do 16. Then I go up a little bit more and I do 15. And then I stop there. And then I go to cables and I do that cable stretch where I just kind of, you know, lock in on that. So lighter weights, higher reps, you know, and then I do leg day.
That's beast. So I'm coming back from a back injury where I was on the couch for like 15 months. So I can't do a ton of heavyweight. The only times I could do it is if I'm like on a machine bench or a machine chest machine. Yeah. Because I'm not, you know, messing with the back too much. But I guess like the harder like I like the harder lifts that don't require a lot of weight. Because then you could still like blast the muscles and you're not really putting too much strain on your back. So I like that. But yeah, legs have been hard because like trying to keep the back straight is like, oh, kind of scared of that right now. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll talk about we're 2 weeks into Q4. We actually don't know what the partner. I mean, originally I was gonna say I wanted to think like, okay, lowered expectations, London Exchange, something like not US, but have you seen that video of that French lady talking about? She said a client of mine just
Paula something or other. Yeah.
It sounds like, for what NASDAQ's been saying and what that lady say, like it does sound like it is DEVVE. Like I don't think any other chain can do what they're talking about.
Do you want me to show you why it is?
Sure. Right, also, I'm not done packing my bags yet, so I'm doing this at my own detriment. But yes. Let's.
All right, let me see if I can find it here. I downloaded this stuff so that I could show it just in case.
Yeah, because I'm waiting on. I was supposed to have some money come in today, but the guy's waiting until tomorrow morning, and we're gonna do it, and then I'll grab the rest of my OMI, and I'll grab the rest of my Definity and the rest of my my DEVVE tomorrow. I'll wait for you to get that. DEVVE bags can't be big enough. Okay, fair point. Okay, we got another at the stage.
Okay, so a couple days ago,
oh shit,
my boy Ted Pillows comes out with this question. He says, Bitcoin is digital gold, Ethereum is digital oil. Which token is the digital NASDAQ? That was.
Oh, I heard about that. Okay, I also can't. Hold on, I'm gonna have to remove that from stage and then add it to stage again, and then I think it'll be okay. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. So Then he says, which token is digital NASDAQ? And then somebody out there by the name of Solve Maxwell,
and he's on the team. He's an advisor on the team.
Maxwell is bullish, says, what if I told you there was actually an answer to this? Which then got followed up with people investigating. Solve Maxwell is an advisor for DEVVE. By the way, that post got taken down. He took that down, which means that means that he said something that he should not have said.
I went to, God, what was it? I have that in my screenshots, and I'm waiting to put it in a video. And I was gonna wait until I purchased tomorrow. Like, hey, guess what I found? I actually have, but it's
So I think he messed up, and I think that he was thinking that he was being funny. That, you know, he's just, by the way, if you go back and you look at him, he's a degen just like the rest of us. You know what I mean? Like, he's talking shit. He's, you know, he's living his best life on Twitter. So I don't think that, you know, I don't think he was thinking about it. I think he was just like, aha, you know, like, I got the answer for you, but I can't tell you what it is, dog. You know what I mean? But my bag's going to be worth $100 billion. You know what I mean? So I think that that's what he was doing, and I think that that's how it was playing out. So that was just that was crazy, by the way. It was just crazy. And that's just more confirmation of all that happened. And then that lady, who, by the way, for those that don't understand, one of her best friends and coworkers and partners is Paul Bureau. Paul Bureau is the CEO of Bank Delubac. Bank Delubac is the settlement partner for DEVVE Exchange. So all of this stuff just started to come out right now. And here's the problem. For anybody who's wondering if there is a problem with that, the problem is this. DEVVE right now sucks at marketing. The extent of their marketing campaign until February of this year was me. That was it. So I single-handedly took it to $1.80, by the way. So just so you guys know. And then they stopped partnering with me back in February, and now they're at 44 cents. So what does that tell you?
So I agree that, first off, congrats, by the way, on getting it up there as high as it did.
I'm just kidding. I didn't have shit to do with it.
So, I mean, if I assume you've got a network same as me, and you have your followers and whatever, but I assume you have your, like, hey, here's my high net worth of individuals in my network, and I assume they've bought probably because of you. So you might have had something to do it, because we have very low volume. We have like a couple 100,000 a day.
You know what's funny? I'm going to show you something that's fucking hilarious here, because, and they did not, I don't think they expected this, because I reached out to, after they did it, I reached out to Phil, and I was like, you know, because I told you what my problem was with them. I told you, you know, my problem really was just a communication thing back in February.
Yeah.
They dropped me, and they didn't bother to even say a word about why. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, that's kind of, you know, that to me left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I was annoyed by that. You know what I mean? But also, they don't owe me anything, so I didn't really care. It was just about, just tell me, hey, we're moving on. No big deal. I would have been fine with that. I didn't like the fact that they didn't communicate with me. Then I told Phil about it. And I told Tom about it. I told anybody who would listen. Like, this pissed me off. Yeah. I even talked to Phil. Phil apologized. And then I was like, okay. And then you can go back and you can look at my stuff. And, you know, I said, we should be partnered again. Like, you guys are fucking this up. All right. And then he was like, well, you've been controversial with my comments. Yeah, because I've been honest. And they didn't like that. So then he was like, well, you know, we can't partner with you again because of the comments that you made. But here's what we can do. Because I said, look, you don't have to. I don't need you to partner with me. But then I did this. I said, hey, by the way, because they, at the same time that they did it, they also did this. Pop that up. How did you first hear about DEVVE? We want to learn how people are discovering our ecosystem. Man, I am all over this thread. Believes crypto, believes crypto, believes crypto, believes. Randy,
Hey, there's me.
Bleaves, bleaves, all over the place. And I sent it to Phil and I said, "You're fucking up, man."
Mm.
But that's okay. You can do that. So they're not good at marketing, basically. They're not good at marketing, but they also, the way I see it is they have no interest in marketing right now.
Yeah.
Because what do you have to market? You know what I mean? Like all you're doing, if you market right now without any bells and whistles in place, you're just doing a hype pump.
Yeah.
And that's a silly waste of money. Like, you know, that's why I said, like, I wasn't mad in February when they decided they didn't want to partner with me anymore. I was just mad because they didn't communicate with me and tell me. To this point, Davin still hasn't even read my message where I was like, "Hey, man, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even read my message. So, that annoyed me. So, but Phil apologized. Then he put me on to Elliot. And Elliot and I, like, I gave away $50 in Dev today on my channel, and I'm giving away $50 again tomorrow for anybody who watches at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Dev gives me a question every day, and then I give away $50.
Nice. There's I think part of the other reason why they might have stopped marketing is because at that time the tariff war would just really get in its kind of footing. We didn't know how long that would last.
It was before that, had nothing to do with it. It was actually that Will Stewart, I want to say.
Oh, he came on and then he's just like, "Hey, X the marketing."
Yeah, somebody. I don't think it was Will Stewart. I don't think it was Will Stewart. Somebody else. Maybe it was Phil. Whoever it was that came in like at the end of January, going into February, and they decided that they were just going to kill all marketing because there was no reason. Like I said, there's no reason to do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just lucky that they're sending me tokens every month. Like that to me is like insanity to talk about it. And you know, a lot of people are in there because of me. Yes, they are. But that still doesn't mean marketing is a it's just not, you know, it just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Also, I think a lot of us kind of felt, and I'm going to say this one because it's going to be controversial again, because I can't fucking help myself. But when we were going into December of last year, I think you probably even remember it because we talked about it. The real feeling was that the exchange would launch by June, that everything would be live,
And
we
they
would have an announcement.
Yeah.
Everything would be done. And we all had that feeling that it was going to be in the first half of 2025 with no roadmap or anything, but they kept dropping these nuggets like it's so close and shit like that. And then it just took, you know, we never got anywhere. And then they just kind of went internal. Then they decided instead of the monolithic approach, they were going to do a fragmented approach. And then we started to see, well, you know, what's going to happen with a roadmap. And they hesitated to put out a roadmap. They hesitated to update the white paper. They hesitated on everything because they didn't have everything set up and in line. Now everything is set up. Everything's in line. Domino after domino after domino after domino is falling. And like the public shard is not live, but it's on Test Center. I mean, you could still do it on Test Center. There's no reason for it to be live, by the way. So if you're annoyed by that, like I'm annoyed that they didn't get it launched at the end of the month, like, or at the end of the quarter, like they were saying, but it's not something that's going to move the chart. I wasn't annoyed that they did or didn't do the website because it's not going to move the chart. It's not going to do anything except for early investors might buy a little bit more, maybe. But that's it, because there's no marketing. Nobody knows about Dev. They're not telling anybody, hey, promote it. So we just kind of sit here waiting for that moment where, and that moment in time, by the way, that's actually going to do something. They're just gonna, you know, when they're ready, when it's done, when they've got their, when they've got the MICA, I think it is that they're waiting for, when they got that MICA approval, whenever they can launch the exchange, boom, then they're going to make the announcement because it's fully integrated. And they have to make the announcement because if you go into the website or you go into the exchange, the partners everywhere on the exchange. So it's obvious.
So there's I think that's the virtual asset service provider that they need, and then they become MiCA compliant, or those
license.
Yeah. So that'd be awesome if they could. I mean, right now they've still said, hey, our rollout and our exchange partner will be announced in Q4. My guess is mid-December. It could come at any time, but I'll say mid-December just because you're a big TA guy, and I saw a meme before where the first half of the meme was technical analysis used to be like this, and it's someone reading charts. Now technical analysis is checking Trump tweets because we got destroyed last week. And I know you're not a fan of Trump, and honestly, his I don't know if it's him or institutional manipulation here, but I feel like what Trump has done, which I think is good for the future, for the security of our country, it has just decimated my bags, and I'm straight up not having a good time since February. So
tariffs are very necessary. This is something that should have been done years and years and years ago. So, like you said, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but I am a fan of tariffs. It's a necessary evil at this point.
So, as a TA guy, is that how much truth is in that meme of, okay, it doesn't really matter TA because Trump can just tweet something and then it goes, or is like, well, you still need TA because X, Y, and Z.
So no, that's not really true because that's not really what happened. If you go back and you actually run the timeline, Trump tweeted at, I'm going to say about 8 a.m. that, you know, China is reckless and irresponsible. We're putting 100% tariff. He's going off. He puts out like an entire paragraph, like Captain Insano, right? And everybody's looking at it, and everybody's looking at the market, and everybody's looking at the tweet, and everybody's looking at the market, and nothing's happening, and nothing is dumping. Nothing's going on. The only thing that you get is from Look On Chain and Whale Alert saying that whales have moved close to $1 billion onto Binance. It's the only thing that you had as a notice of anything at that point. Okay, so nothing's moving, nothing's happening. We're just kind of sitting there. And by the way, we're having a down day. It's Friday expiry. It's what a normal Friday expiry was going to be anyway. Then what happened was this. For anybody who doesn't know what happened, Wintermute, which is the largest market maker in the world, also Chinese market maker, dumped everything. They dumped everything. And not only did they dump on Binance, they were dumping on Coinbase. Coinbase went offline because they couldn't handle the flow of what was happening. They were dumping everything.
Robinhood, Coinbase, and Binance all apparently had issues at the same time. Now, maybe it's possible, but I feel like that, like, people couldn't add to their leverage. People couldn't add, like, they couldn't trade. And I feel like they might have done that on purpose. Maybe that's my conspiracy mind going crazy.
So there's only, yes, because you have to remember, going back, the book is already written. The book was written with Terra Luna Classic. Once you start a spiral, and once you start that downward momentum, and once you maximize the transactions and the throughput, there's nothing anybody can do. Now, Terra Luna Classic was a death spiral because it was just an automated process. But Coinbase, number of transactions per second, automated process. Binance, number of transactions per second, automated process. What did Wintermute do? Wintermute set an AI with their order books and dumped everything as rapidly as they possibly could. And they were doing it in micro transactions. So they're not doing it, they're not dumping $100 million worth of Bitcoin in one fell swoop. They're dumping $500,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then they're waiting 2 seconds and doing it again and doing it again and doing it again and doing it again. And they're doing it with everything. They sold off Terra. By the way, you can tell what Wintermute is holding by the candles that you saw that happened when all this broke down. Like, you can see they had a big bag of Ethereum because Ethereum went down to, where did it go? Went down to 3,400 in minutes, by the way. SWI went down to 56 cents on some of the exchanges. I mean, you can go back and you can look. And now here's the
I saw Adam was like, ATOM went to like 0.001.
Yes, 0.001. That's absolutely insane. And then what happened was they had filled the order books. So the biggest, everything in the order book was just Wintermute, micro transacting and selling everything off on the market. And then that caused people to be like, oh shit. And they started selling too, because they're seeing this red candle and they're like, oh my God, the black swan's here. And then what do they remember? Oh yeah, Donald Trump said something today. That's what happened. Donald Trump didn't do this. Wintermute did it, and they ran it under cover of what was going on. And then the reason that there's gigantic wicks at the end of these candles is because Wintermute was the company that sent $1 billion to Binance. And by the way, they sent 700 million to Binance and 300 million to Coinbase, but Coinbase was going offline. So they took that 300 million from Coinbase and moved it over to Binance. And then they proceeded to, on this dip, buy back $1 billion worth of crypto on this dip. And what they did was they leveraged all these people out of their positions in a cascade and frenzied sell-off. They used that fear in the market, and then they started buying the dip. And then on Sunday morning, Donald Trump said, I'm going to help China. He just absolutely reversed his position. Now, there is one other thing to add to that, which doesn't have any bearing on this, but it should be noted. There was a $600 million short placed on, I'm sorry, it's $400 million. So $400 million short placed on Binance at the same time that Donald Trump was doing that tweet.
I remember and he like cashed out like almost fully. And then I think he opened up another one like 2 days later or something like that.
Yeah, 371 million yesterday.
So a lot of credit.
So, and it was right before Donald Trump made a tweet. Again, it's an insider.
Yeah.
But they didn't have anything to do with what was going on. Now, there is obviously the possibility that Wintermute orchestrated this with Binance. I don't think that's the truth. I think that I think that Binance is a scam. All right.
Same.
CZ Binance went to prison because he did exactly what they said. So I think Binance ultimately is a scam or a scam artist organization. I don't think that they're healthy. I don't think that they're good for crypto. I don't think that they're a positive thing in crypto. I think CZ is a positive force in crypto, but I don't think Binance Exchange is. So there's possibility that they knew it was going on. They've got to be friends with Wintermute. Wintermute is a market maker for them. So they have to know some of the things that are going on. So maybe they knew, maybe they didn't. If you track their wallets, they didn't sell. They didn't do anything. They were not the problem. And in fact, as of today, they've now reimbursed $750 million to the people who couldn't click. Like they tracked everything. Everything was being tracked. Anybody who was getting shit on, stuff like that. Again, $750 million is what they've agreed to pay so far. And they're not being forced to. They're not in court. They're just saying it's the right thing to do right here. We're going to pay these people what they should have gotten. They sent out, I want to say,
I think it's been average though, right?
They sent out either 45 or $70 million worth of BNB this morning to people to compensate them for what happened.
I think it's an average though, right? It's not like, hey, you're getting this much and you're getting that much. Yeah.
Right. They again, there's AI to track everything. There's data where you can track. And most importantly, the shorts that were unable, the stop losses that were not triggered, those are the things that they're compensating. They're not compensating. Everybody who lost money because they couldn't sell, there's going to be a lot of, sorry, too bad. There will be a lot of that, I'm sure, especially smaller wallets. But the larger wallets who were doing leverage trading, who had a 10% stop loss set, if that didn't get triggered, they're getting their money back. So, that's where a lot of it's coming from. That's why it's so much. Because there's so much leverage trading going on.
On the other end of not just the trading, but the listings, they're, I think, about to get in some hot water because it's coming out that they have been charging millions of dollars just for an alpha listing, which you need just to be considered for a normal listing. And Binance support is just like, actually, no, we've never asked people to do that. And then everyone's just like, yeah, the fuck you have. Here's the receipts. And it's been insane.
Yeah. Again, I don't have any respect for Binance. I think that they are a scam. I am sure of it.
I mean, the more I look at it, it's like the more I feel like the crypto space needs DEVVE and the DEVVE exchange and what they're going to do. Like, do you see any holes And obviously we won't be able to really look at it until they actually roll out, but it seems like they have everything covered. Like they're going to have that if you want to, because you have people like grandmas that are just be like, hey, I don't know what these private keys are. I don't even use a pass key. I just want to know it's safe. So like you don't need self custody for, you know, like grandma. But the fact that they'll have it self custody if you want to, they'll have that option. They'll have that option if you want it to keep it with them. Seems like everything. The only, I guess, liquidity might be the only issue, because if every trade's going to settle for DEVVE, and if they're going to do something with NASDAQ like that, they need liquidity, and I feel like they don't really have a ton.
So the issues, in so much as there would be issues, first there's going to be the thin liquidity pool, which I think will be short. I think that'll be ramped up very rapidly if NASDAQ is in fact a partner. I think that's going to settle itself very, very quickly. I think that a lot of us are going to be liquidity providers at that point, because the value of DEVVE is going to be out of control. And I'm calling it DEVVE now instead of DEVVE, because when they went to the exchange, it's called DEVVE, DEVV .exchange.
Okay.
So I think it's meant to be DEVVE.
Okay.
So what I think is that the problem that I see is, what is the mechanism for you releasing the funds? Now, if you remember the way that the transaction goes, you and I want to trade, we connect our wallets to the exchange and we do a trade. It instantaneously settles, but it's not actually you and me settling that bet. We're actually, I'm taking mine, I'm giving it to the holding company, which I guess is Bank Delobac. Bank Delobac is then giving you the equivalent of the transaction so that you then have it. And then I have to confirm that it's legitimate. And then you have to confirm, or I have to confirm, because I'm the person that's doing it. You know, we have to confirm that it's a legitimate transaction. I don't know what that mechanism is. I don't understand that one yet. So that to me is the weakness in the chain at this point. So until I know exactly how that's going to settle, they fixed the risk is what they say, but I don't know that it's actually that. I think it sounds great in theory, but I don't know it yet. So I don't know whether it really is or not. I just know that
I assume they lock in the price. Like, because like if prices change from second to second, I assume they lock it in, and you might have 5 seconds to be like, hey, do you confirm? Because if you wait like 30 seconds, like, okay, it could be a new price. And then
you can do it up to a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who's. Oh, all right.
Right.
So is there a way you could do that beforehand? Like, hey, you're putting this sell order here, and then it doesn't matter what is that, as long as you confirm it, like, hey, this is swapping for this.
We have to learn what the confirmation process is. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Like, and by the way, some of us may not have that. It might be the Genesis NFT that does it. You know, that might be the, or there might be another NFT. But here's the problem. The problem is, if it's an NFT, then if your wallet gets hacked, the NFT gets hacked too. So I don't understand the settlement mechanism yet.
I hadn't thought of that it would be the NFT. Aren't there like too few of those to?
I think so. I think so. I think there would have to be a different NFT if it was.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure yet. Everything that I'm doing is just speculative, you know. Yeah. So if it's in the system, if somebody has access to the system, they can confirm it. I mean, I don't understand how you do that. By the way, Penguin asked if I have fiber supplements. I buy like a big thing of fiber, and then I just put 2 scoops into water.
Cool. Not on the fiber yet. Maybe one. I mean, my number 2s are fine. So I feel like I'm okay.
Fiber was one of my important things that I do anyway. And the reason that I did that is because I went on carnivore, and within 2 weeks of being on carnivore, I was pooping blood.
Oh,
yeah.
What were you like? Junk diet carnivore? Like, here's all this like fried chicken, or is it like? Was it healthy Like, what were you eating? What
I was eating steak or chicken every day, and that was it.
Were you eating the bone with it? Like, what?
No,
what
the problem was I wasn't getting any fiber.
Oh,
I was only getting meat and fat and then I was eating chicken most of the time, so I wasn't even getting very much fat. And
Yeah,
when you don't get enough carbohydrates and stuff like that, you don't have anything to flush out your body.
Yeah.
So
without fat, if I go a few days without fat, maybe not, because I've done fasting before and that's fine. But if I'm eating like egg whites and broccoli and there's no fat, I get really bad headaches.
Well,
I get like,
you know what, the broccoli is a good fiber source, so you would be getting fiber in that. I wasn't getting fiber, so that's what ended up happening. And then I started reading up on it. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, and then I started reading up on it, and they're like, well, that's a common side effect of somebody who's eating carnivore and only carnivore, because you're not getting fiber. Start supplementing with fiber. I supplemented with fiber, and it fixed immediately. Everything was fine.
Good stuff.
So then I went, so now fiber is just one of the most important supplements. Creatine and fiber are my two #1 go-tos that I always make sure that I have. As a matter of fact, I was watching a video, some old pro bodybuilders, they were talking about like, what are your top supplements? And they were ranking them. Obviously, #1 was supposed to be creatine. And most of them put creatine at #2 and said #1 is fiber. Like you need fiber in your diet because it makes you feel full. If you're dieting, like I'm on Ozempic, so I don't really get hungry very much. But when I do get hungry, it's taken care of with fiber. Like I'm always full.
I'm usually pretty good with that. Like my stomach definitely shrank like a lot. I'm not saying like the fat around it, although that shrank too. But yeah, I went to New York a couple times. Once last week, once early in September, and trying to eat I'm eating like a couple slices of pizza. I was like, oh, I ate like 1.5 slices. Like I'm good. Yeah, stomach shrank, so I'm good with that. I don't really, but I'll probably grab some anyway if it's super good for you. Anyway, really I was on live with Dr. Stuff and Crypto Rain yesterday, and he had said something. He's like, I think Q4 is going to be spectacular for crypto. And I pushed back on it because I told him, like, listen, I've been hearing that like kind of like for like the last year now, not just from him, but just from people in general, like, hey, this is going to be the catalyst. And we have rate cuts. We have like our 8th peace deal that Trump has signed. Like we have like stock markets at all-time highs, gold at all-time highs. I'm just not really seeing an alt season here. I have said before that I think that by the end of the year, even without the announcement of whoever our exchange partner is, the overall crypto bull market could take DEVVE back up to $2. But again, I'm having to rethink that because I just don't see what the catalyst is going to be. Maybe we get another 25 base point cut, and that's fine. What do you see the price going to before the announcement and then post announcement? I think post announcement go insane, but
yeah. It's funny you bring that up. I'll show you why it's funny.
Tell me why ain't nothing but a home.
All right, here we go. So this is the dev chart, the top of this market right now, the maximum breakout that we could or should have, in my opinion, is $1.50, and that's going to be located somewhere in this, like the bottom of that range right there, right around $1.50.
All right,
that's going to be the maximum that we could possibly get to. Yeah.
Okay. Come.
Now, most likely it's right here at $1, which is, let me change that to a red line right there. You can see that a little bit better, and we'll make
so the 78 to $1 is like probably what you should get to.
Yeah. So the first big rejection, and the reason that I put 78 cents right there was because that seems to be the volume node. Okay. If we get a run up to that range right now, there's going to be a large dump, because you have to look at where the buyers step in, and you have to look at how are the buyers sitting right now. So when you get this trade volume, which is right here, that's buyers stepping in. There's buyers protecting the price right there. There's when we get the big wick up into near $1 and it gets rejected because it reached too far into the sun. The next time we reach into that sun, to remember here, all of these people right here, they're going to dump when we get up into this range. Okay. Not everybody, but a lot of people. That's just the way that crypto works. So you're going to have a lot of rejection at $1. You're going to have a lot of rejection around 78, 80 cents. If we have the exit velocity to get up to $1.50, you have to look at it from this context, and that is that long-term trend line. That long-term trend line tells me that, you know, if we were to do something like that, you know, right around here, and by the way, when we zoom out here, where are we on this long-term trend line? There it is right there. So if we were to get exit velocity and just break out, it just happens to be right there. And when you do that, if you wick up into that range and then you start to zoom back out and say, well, what happened? We just hit the tops. We just hit the tops of every single one of them. So $1.50 is going to be the top without an announcement. And no marketing. Let's also be clear. There's no marketing. There's nothing being done. What you would see happen here, in my estimation, is you would see some people like maybe some employees for a company who we still aren't allowed to name, that we do anyway, finding out that there's a partnership and saying, "Ooh, I could make some money," and buying. Maybe that would happen. You can see some dev people start to buy a little bit more. You could get some people who are already in it starting to get that little FOMO feel. The other thing is, you know, one of the projects that I was on not that long ago, Runwago, did a quick boom, 18x. And I had a bunch of people who were in it who are now flush with cash, and they're looking to buy dev. We get a nice little run on one of our, you know, internal dev runners, and people make a bunch of money off of it. You could see a crazy price reaction from people who've made some money in the market. Again, taking us up to about $1.50. Normally, I would say about $1. That's, again, my big rejection area. And by the way, that rejection area, for anybody who was questioning that, saying, "Oh, bullshit." No bullshit. People are going to sell off at $1. People are going to sell off at $1. People are going to sell off at $1. So that's what's going to happen right there. So again, if we have that exit velocity to get above $1, $1.50 is going to be the cap. But once it's done, and by the way, it's very funny that the guy asked that question, because here is the video that I just did with my prediction. And let me zoom it out here for you. There's my prediction, $54.72, because I said that dev is most likely going to go to 5 billion market cap. I think that's pretty conservative of an estimate for a partnership with NASDAQ. I think that a partnership with NASDAQ is worth 10 to 20 billion. That's what I think. However, I also understand that the market is complicated sometimes. I think a safe number for dev, if in fact we're announcing that it's going to be NASDAQ, is right there. It's going to be 5 billion market cap. The one at 5 billion market cap right now is Polkadot, sitting at 4.778 billion market cap, and that's $54.72. So my prediction is going to be anywhere between $40 and $70 on the initial just explosive move. I think we'll hit $1 billion, and I think we'll do like a Fibonacci. We'll kind of dip a little bit on $1 billion market cap, and then people will be like, we're going. And then we're just going to soar all the way up to 5 billion. I don't know at 5 billion if we stop there. I think that, again, that's the comfortable, safe zone for me at 5 billion market cap. But I mean, if you just consider if it goes to 10 billion market cap, $100 a coin, $110. If it goes to 20 billion market cap, then that's $220 a coin.
So that sounds insane. And I'm not saying that won't happen. I know right now it's undervalued, and it's not going to go just to where, oh yeah, it should be valued here based on their EBITDA and everything. Like it will go to where it shouldn't go. Like it shouldn't be valued up here, but it probably will be that, just because that's what people do. People will go in and say like, oh, this could be $1,000, and that'll force them to buy at 100, because what if it goes to 1,000? Like just that type of logic I've seen with people. They don't pay attention to market cap. Like that's why a lot of tokens that are 000 whatever or 80 whatever, like, oh, you know, what if it goes to a penny? And it's like, okay, that would make it an $8 trillion market cap. That doesn't make sense. But again, people don't really pay attention to that.
That's right. It's about market cap. Market cap at $5 billion. That's not untoward. That's not even a stretch. Not for NASDAQ. I mean, here's what you have to consider. What is SWE's market cap right now? SWE's market cap is, I think I switched this to crypto. Yeah, this is crypto now. So SWE's current market cap is 9.74 billion. Their big partner is Franklin Templeton. Franklin Templeton is not bigger than NASDAQ.
No.
So just take a moment, just in name recognition, just in, you know, the pieces. NASDAQ is much bigger in the public lexicon than Franklin Templeton. Because you're with NASDAQ, people will rapidly say, well, if NASDAQ is doing it, that means that BlackRock has to do it, Fidelity has to do it, ARC21 has to do it, Franklin Templeton has to do it. NASDAQ is the hub by which all of these guys operate on this on these charts. So their value has to be at a minimum 5 billion, but more likely in the range of something like SWE or higher, which is again where I come in and say 10 billion market cap to 20 billion market cap is actually probably a more realistic look than 5 billion. Like it's just a numbers game. And as long as the dev stream or the dev foundation is not releasing new tokens into the wild, there'll be coins at that point, but as long as they're not releasing new coins into the wild and we're still at 120 million supply, as long as we're still there, nothing's going to change. It's going to go absolutely nanners, as they say.
Doesn't the type of partnership matter? Because I mean, what if it's a type of partnership where it's harmless and they're not making much money? Obviously, if you have it where they're making money hand over fist and they become a cash cow, then yeah, then we could go insane. And 50 billion is very reasonable. So again, if it is that.
So then you have to ask yourself the other part of the question: what is the money that they're doing right now? And I guess it's not right here, but press releases in 2025. On October 8th.
Well, this is DevStream. This is the one that's on NASDAQ, right? Like,
yes,
this is actually listed on.
This is their parent company. This is where it all starts. They are currently holding $3 million worth of Bitcoin. They're holding 22 Bitcoin at this point, and 12,000 Solana, valued at 2.7 million, in their treasury. Okay, so what we're talking about is a company that has a treasury in the neighborhood of $6 million right now. If Bitcoin blows up, it becomes even more. Also, they have a USD balance right now of 1.28 million, and what is it, 180 million dev tokens?
I know they have some dev tokens. They just got, I think, what, like 10 million out of 30 million or something like that, in like a tranche. Because I actually, I can't say it on here. So they had a good, I think, last month or last couple days or whatever. Market cap is 9.45 million. They are, I can't say it. I'll say this publicly and then I'll tell you privately, but they're they do some carbon credits where they buy and sell. The feeling that they are going to be getting more business soon.
Yes. And that's exactly, this company is not small. No matter what we think at this point, everything that they've done, when you start to peel back the layers and you start to find out what's really going on around here, there's so much more to the dev ecosystem than what they're talking about or what's happening right now. So a lot of that comes on faith, but if you are the hub, by the way, remember this partnership is for the exchange. NASDAQ in November of 2023 announced that they were creating or partnering with an exchange because they were going to launch RWA, tokenized bonds, tokenized treasuries. They were going to announce all of these things, and this is the secret partner, right? I mean, if we assume that that's right at this point, that is the secret partner. It's not for a minor partnership. It's because DEVVE is going to be where you trade everything through NASDAQ. So if that's the case, what's the value? And we're in a market that loves to overvalue.
Yes, they will. So again, if they can become a cash cow, geez, so 100x from here would be about 4 billion.
Yeah.
A 1000x at 40 billion. That sounds insane. And I know it's not, because again, let's say if we go down that road, play those dominoes out, and you have the liquidity that's needed, like everything's going to be settled for DEVVE, and they're going to have to offer some insane staking rewards, or like, because I don't want to lock up my DEVVE. I'll only do it if I can get some reward. And if everyone locks up their DEVVE and then people are trying to get DEVVE and then they can't get it from the open market, and you have that squeeze, then it goes fucking insane. So yeah, but and again, I want to kind of lower my expectations here just a little bit.
Here's what happens if they're a serious company, which I think they are. This is what happens if it goes to Solana's market cap.
And that's Solana's market cap right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. DEVVE tokens, that coins at that point would be $1,220 per coin.
So people have said, oh, Binance went to like the biggest exchange in like 8 months or whatever. But that was also when Binance and Coinbase weren't the behemoths that they are now. Now, granted, I see some cracks in the armor of Binance just because they've been very predatory for so long. And, people are starting to recognize that. So there might be that kind of power vacuum there, and DEVVE could probably take some market share. But also, everyone's an exchange now. Like, everyone's huge. Like, how do you get? I don't know if that same thing can be replicated, or DEVVE can become one of the biggest exchange partners or exchanges.
Yeah. So the question, I guess, or I suppose, would be, who are you providing liquidity for? And if you're providing it for degens, I mean, you're probably going to be, you have to think about all the money that's being made by these companies. Try to cash out on Binance or Coinbase or anything like that. See how much money they make when you cash out $1,000, and be critical, by the way. Think about from $1,000 that you have right now, and you're going to convert your money from Bitcoin, Ethereum. You have $1,000 worth, and you're going to convert that to USDT or USDC in order to cash out, or you're going to convert it to cash, right? How much do you have at the end with $1,000? 987, 982, 980, something like that. They're going to take a percentage, right? Then you have to transfer it to your bank. And guess what? They're going to take another percentage for that. So by the time you cash out your $1,000, just $1,000, they're going to probably get you for about $30, maybe $25 total for you to cash out. So I want you to then think about that all day long. People are cashing in and out of crypto. How much money are these exchanges really making? Whether they're managing their processes fairly or not, how much money are they making? They are making loads of money. The fact that they didn't even flinch at 750 million in payouts without anybody complaining should tell you everything you need to know about how much money they are throwing around per day. I mean, so
that's true.
As far as DEVVE goes, DEVVE is not playing around with degens. DEVVE is playing with institutional grade stuff. So speculative pump, then we dump everything except a few thousand that we're going to hold on to in case it does a Solana run, and we can make an extra million or two off of it. And then we've done what we needed to do. change your life, you know, change your life with DEVVE, and then decide what you're going to do after that.
I still do not have as much to get into the whale group. I think that will change tomorrow. I'll be close. You had earlier this year, I think when I first had you in the pod, you had a lot more than I do. Now I have about as much as you had like 6 months ago. I assume you have a bit more now. I assume you have quite a bit more now.
Yeah, every time I cash out some other crypto, I just buy more DEVVE.
Yes, Alex, we be talking about the DEVVE over here. We got a lot of. What other? I know you have some Definity. What other things are you holding here?
So what I'm holding is I hold a lot of API 3 because I'm convinced that API 3 is going to absolutely devour some of that Chainlink market cap. I think that they are going to, because basically this is a less frictioned version of Chainlink. There's no middleman with API 3. So at some point when the market, by the way, none of this is going to happen for anybody who's wondering, like, why are we not getting the bull run? It's very simple, because we don't have the Clarity Act. That's the reason. So what everybody's waiting for is that Clarity Act for everything to start really playing out. So API 3 is going to be your bridge into RWAs. And it's going to be a replacement, a more efficient replacement for Chainlink. So I think Chainlink will still get its normal pump, but I think API 3 will be discovered, and we'll see, you know, $100 on API 3, which is trading at 67 cents right now. Also, I'm holding Pendle.
What's Pendle?
Pendle is a lender just like AAVE.
Okay.
But it uses the AAVE protocol for lending, but it's an institutional grade borrower and lender. And by the way, what are we doing? Institution is not in yet because of the Clarity Act. So again, when institution really takes off, when Pendle is, I want to say about 600, 700 billion market cap right now, 6 or 700 million market cap right about now, 560 today.
Yeah.
560 million market cap today. That's a 5 or 10 billion market cap. So it's an easy 10 to 20x when institutions are really going to, you know, go all in. Now, on speculation right now, I keep accumulating OM mantra because of that crazy sell-off that happened when that guy got liquidated on AAVE. And by the way, for those of you who don't know what happened to Mantra was sitting at about $10 a coin. And it kind of dipped down to, I want to say, about $6 or $7 per coin. And then this guy decided to leverage himself for 36 million to go long, to go short on Bitcoin. Some whales saw it and they bought up Bitcoin and pumped the price and liquidated this guy for 36 million. Well, his leverage with AAVE was Mantra. He used $36 million worth of Mantra tokens as his leverage, and AAVE liquidated him immediately, which caused a huge dip in the market. Because, I mean, they had a thin liquidity pool anyway, because they're kind of fractured out. They've got their own chain. They've got Ethereum and stuff like that. And that was a lot for them to absorb at one point. So people panicked, and then people started selling, and then everybody started dumping because they're like, oh shit, I'm not getting left behind. And a lot of people made a lot of money off of it. Well, fundamentally, there's nothing wrong with Mantra. Mantra still has the same partners, and in fact, more partners than it had back then. However, now you have to change the narrative, and the narrative doesn't change until the Clarity Act. Mantra is another major RWA blockchain. So I'm gonna be a big fan of Pendle. I'm gonna be a big fan of Mantra. I'm gonna be a big fan of DEVVE. I'm still holding Definity, API 3, and then one more that I have, which is now the #1 AI crypto, is called BitTensor. And I partnered with them a little while back. And every time I make videos, I am I get Tau for making videos for them. Nice. And I've accumulated I've accumulated BitTensor Tau tokens. And yesterday or a couple days ago, it was trading at shit. Let me just show you the chart, because when you look at it, you're like, God damn. Boom, boom, boom.
Way up from 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing had a nice rocket ride while the rest of the market is dumping, right? It dumps down to $162. So Wintermute is holding on to it. This is what I was saying before. When you look at these charts, the way that they played out, how quickly this all happened, you look at this right here. See that right there? That's 1 hour, okay? That is 1 hour that all of this shit happened right here. And you can see that candle is just crazy. It got bought back up that fast. Like, that's crazy. Look at on the 30-minute. Look at that. Like, it's crazy how fast it got bought back up. Why did it get bought back up? Because Wintermute is buying back their own dips, and they're buying back at the bottom. And Wintermute is in a better position than they were, or they've improved their position, if you will. And then what happened is it started to break out, and it went to 480 bucks yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Today it's at $406. I've been accumulating. I've been getting it at 300 bucks.
Nice.
And they just send it to me. I just have a BitTensor wallet up here, and every time I make content for them, they just send me more BitTensor.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's based on the number of views that you get and stuff like that. So they were telling me originally, they were like, yeah, I mean, guys, at your level right now, if you make, and I don't make content for everything that they do. I only make content that I decide to make. But they were like, guys like you make about $5,000 a month on BitTensor.
Sweet.
So if I just keep churning out content, then, you know, I'd probably make a lot more. But I am real happy with what they've paid me so far. So can't complain.
Good shit.
And when you look at if you were to go to CoinMarketCap and you look at boom, AI, click, who's number one? BitTensor. Tau is now the number one AI crypto. And what's going to happen? AI. When's it going to happen? It's happening right now. What does that mean? It means most likely that BitTensor, since it is now the number one AI crypto, will probably be one of the biggest beneficiaries of it in market capitalization.
I mean,
at least during that initial crazy surge that we know is going to happen. Look at Fetch, which to me, Fetch was the premier place, right? Fetch has fallen 76% so far this year. A lot of these have fallen, by the way. If you look at this, look at how much some of these have fallen. Like, and then in the meantime, BitTensor is down 7%. That's not like, that's everything else. I mean, look around. Like, that is absolutely crazy how well BitTensor has been holding up in this market. So, I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Have you ever followed the updates of like Grok and ChatGPT 4 to 4.5, now 5.0?
Not with the fine-tooth comb. You know, Elon posts something and, you know, I look at like a data sheet or something like that every once in a while, how fast it is or something like that, or, you know, all those things. But I mean, to be fair, I ChatGPT to me is a scam. Grok is a different kind of scam, but a scam nonetheless. Venice.
When you say scam, can you elaborate on?
Oh yeah, so the problem with Grok is if you ask Grok a question, Grok goes to the places that are public. It goes to legacy media to give you your answer. So if you're looking for answers, it's giving you, and by the way, you should not distrust the legacy media. They're not lying to you. They're just telling you their side of the truth. Okay. But that's not that's not the truth. Okay. That's a slanted, skewered version. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't trust Grok, because Grok also uses right-wing websites more specifically now than it did before. And like, for example, if I told you what was going to happen in the markets based on what Grok gave me, Grok would go to Coinpedia. Grok would go to Cointelegraph. Grok would go to all of the crypto sites, and those guys are fucking idiots, okay? They have no idea what's going on, okay? When you go look for like, I take pride in knowing what's going on in the market, or understanding the fundamentals of why things are moving, which is like when you said Donald Trump, he makes a post and the market dumps. Actually, it didn't. It actually took a few hours for it to dump, because Wintermute was the one that was manipulating it like that. That's why the dump didn't happen, because Donald Trump doesn't move crypto right now. Donald Trump posting this shit, he moves institutions to take advantage of you. Me, I'm not dumping on you. Randy, he's not dumping on you. You guys, you're not dumping on each other, okay? They are dumping on us, and they're using the news to manipulate that data. So if that's happening, then it's happening everywhere. And because it's happening everywhere, we have to be alert, and we have to recognize. And by the way, we can't do shit about it. We just have to recognize that it exists and try our best to figure out how we navigate it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't trust any of these, because they're getting their data from corrupt sources.
Grimace, you need to think 100,000 tokens to be in the whip, and so it's right now 45K. You want to get in there? Let me know. Do you think that we can slap 150? As we were going over before, in a blow off top after the initial announcement, it settles, and then it goes crazy again from the revenues. If we think it's Nasdaq, and if they start making a lot of money, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Alex, just on pure speculation, you're going to see it run up to $1 billion during the announcement. Then you're going to see it run to 5 billion very quickly right after that, because everybody's going to take profit at $1 billion. The hardest run for a crypto is from 0 to $1 billion. And that's going to be the hardest run. And then once it gets to $1 billion, that's when the big money is going to step in. Now, the big money is going to step in with small money so that they can ride their bag all the way up to $1 billion. And then that's when the real money starts to come in. And by the way, the reason that the real money is going to come in is because if Dev makes that announcement, everybody's going to be incentivized to get a piece of that. Binance is going to list it because they're going to want a piece of that. Coinbase is going to list it because they're going to want a piece of that trade volume. Everybody's going to want the trade volume that comes with this sort of partnership. And that's going to lead to much bigger whales coming in and pumping the bag. And what you're talking about at 150, that means that it would be about a 15 billion market cap. And can it do that? Yes. Will it do that? I don't know. I'm being conservative in saying 5 billion, but like we did talk about, I mean, it could easily go to 20 billion, because if SWE is sitting at 10 billion with Franklin Templeton, if NASDAQ is a bigger name than Franklin Templeton, why wouldn't Dev go above 10 billion market cap? Everything has to work out. All the pieces need to line up. All the tea leaves need to be read. All of the pieces, they need to fit in the right places for that to happen. But if they do, and I don't have any reason to think that they won't, okay? The only problem that they've had so far has been really just kind of communicating with marketers. Other than that, they're laser focused on what they need to do in order to take everything to that next level. So they're not really making mistakes. They're just taking their time, and that frustrates and annoys some people. But when it breaks, and it will break, when it breaks, this is going to go absolutely crazy. So $150, sure. Most likely $50 is going to be my top. At $50, by the way, I'm completely out except for about 2,000 or 3,000. I'm going to leave a few thousand in, but I'm taking my money and I'm going to buy, something. And then I'm going to hold on to that extra 3,000 or 4,000. God damn it, I forgot. I'm going to leave 10,000 in for liquidity.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to leave 2,000 or 3,000 into a separate wallet just in case it goes to $1,000. because if it goes up to that Solana market cap or something like that, I'll have a few thousand. That'll be a few more million. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, so well, why wouldn't you leave it to 1,000? Well, from here to $50 is a 1,000x, but from a $50 to 1,000 is only a 20x. So it's like, how much more are you really getting?
Right.
And obviously that's not guaranteed. So
yeah. So if you have 1,000 at $50, that's $50,000. So a 20x from there is another million. So if you leave,
so if I was going to keep 10,000 tokens at $50, I'd be keeping a lot of money in that.
Well, that would be for liquidity, because the liquidity, if let's just say the liquidity is about 4%. Like, so if you're providing liquidity and your rewards are about 4%, that's 20 grand a year.
Yeah. I mean, we're also getting how many people you have signed up on the link down below, by the way, for the DEVVE exchange, if you want to go down there. But yeah, how many people you have signed up for that?
I don't know. I never look.
Oh, I feel like you probably have a good amount, like probably a lot.
I never pay attention to it. I look at KCEX every day because I get paid from them every day. I look at Weeks because I get paid from them every day. I look at Margex because I get paid from them every day. But like, I have a love-hate relationship with most exchanges because MEXC screwed me over so hard that I have trust issues with every centralized exchange.
I see that.
I'll tell you what happened to them actually real quick. I made an agreement with them and the fees were 4%. And I had $20 million in volume and they paid me, a few $1,000s for a month. They dropped my rate to 1%. Yeah. And I had $127 million in volume that month.
Oh.
And they only paid me $5,000 for 127 million. And then the next month I had 80 million and they only paid me $4,000 for that. If I had been on any other exchange, I would have made between $15,000 and $25,000. They screwed me over. And then that was during Pepe run, by the way. Then they switched it back to 4% when the market, when Pepe dumped, they switched it back to 4%. And I was fucking furious. Then remember 6 months after DEVVE or after Pepe pumped, it pumped again. They put it back down to 1%. And I had another $100 million worth of volume, and they only paid me $5,000 at that point again. I was furious. I was absolutely furious with them. And then they decided they were leaving America because, America's been hostile to MEXC. So what did they do? Instead of saying, hey, we're going to keep you on, you can't log in, you can't do anything, we'll accumulate. When we come back to America, everything will be fine. No, they took all of my users and housed them all so that they got their money every single month, and they fucked me over. So I do not trust any of these exchanges.
Well, with DEVVE, supposed to get up to 60% of the trading fees, at least I think 30% from one, or 35% from one, 15 from another, 10 from the last one. I feel like that could be pretty lucrative if this goes wild, especially if we already signed up 50, 80, 100 people, however much it is, and then they sign up people. They go crazy. Do you know, I mean, have they mentioned what the trading fees are going to be? Like for the average person, like it's 1% or X amount of percent?
I was just looking at it a few seconds ago, and the answer was pennies. That was their answer on their website, was pennies.
Okay, so disregard. We're probably not going to pay that much if it's all right.
Yeah, there's no number out there yet, so I'm just waiting to find out what it's going to be. But yeah, I just did the video. Like, that's like, I haven't even edited the video. I just did it. I just showed you it was in my editor. And the website says pennies.
Damn. Okay. Well, I guess even 60%, if it's on pennies, probably not going to be too life changing. But I'm okay with that. I'm happy I did. Happy I got the people signed up. It's good for the exchange. It's good for the token. It's good for moi.
Yep. Yeah, I think I'm super excited. Like, I really am super excited about about what DEVVE's done, where they're going, how it's all going to fit in. It is my belief that this is going to be one of the biggest launches in this bull run. Like, this is going to be one for the records, that we're going to see just an absolute crazy banger of a run. And, you know, when it's all said and done, we're going to be, all of us, real happy with how this all played out.
Yeah. So there's, before we get to what Tom might win next year or the next couple of years, I do want to, there's I think a deep fear in me, maybe because I've taken acid one too many times, but I think that this life, or what we call life, is not real, and it's a simulation, because this seems almost too perfect. Like, how are we, one, alive on this spinning rock floating through this insane place, but also happen to be born in a time where we can make this much money in crypto, and with a decent enough brain to be able to wrap our heads around what's going on and to meet the people we've met. It almost doesn't seem real. Like, it almost doesn't seem like, do you fear that as well? Or are you for sure that this is going to happen? Because right now, this is all kind of dreamland for me. Like, this, I feel like I have imposter syndrome a lot of times.
From what I see, I'm convinced that they got something big going on. I'm not convinced, because I need to see it first, that we're actually going to go to 5 to 20 billion. So, I mean, and you know, the thing is, I don't think the wheels are falling off. It's too deep now. It's too, here we are at the finish line now. You know, and here's the thing. If I get a 10x pump, my life has changed anyway. I don't need 100x. You know what I mean? Like, it's, all I need is for the bull run to be the bull run. If it goes to $2, it's a couple $100,000 for me. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need that much for it to be a really good run. And, you know, to be very, very frank with everybody, I am altcoin guy right now because I need to make a few $1 million. Once I have a few $1 million, you're not going to convince me to get into your shitcoin at all. Every dollar I have will be in Bitcoin. So I already know the plan. I already know what my future holds when it comes to what's going on here. So in the event that I get, you know, 5x instead of 50 or 100x, if I get a 5x, that's going to be enough for me to buy a couple of Bitcoin. I'm good. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I need. So that ultimately, it just means my path to $10 million will take a little bit longer. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm not really worried, but I am pretty sure that no matter what, that we are going to absolutely slam dunk $1 billion as a market cap, you know, just on the announcement alone. So, you know, when that happens,
25x.
Yeah, it's about a 20. Yeah, it's about a 25x. So that's going to be over $1 million anyway. So I'm real good with where I am. I'm real good on my position right now. You know, and by the way, there's always things that can go wrong on every single crypto. You guys do your own research and figure out for yourself. I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm telling you what I'm doing and what I think. You have to decide for yourself whether you believe that or not. That's not me. So, you know, if you like it, if you like the idea, if you think that what they're saying is truthful and right, if you understand everything that they've done so far, why they haven't done what you want them to do, or what you think they should. If you understand what's going on fundamentally, then make your decision. If your decision is to not be involved, no worries. I didn't know you anyway. If your decision is to be involved, what's up, friend? We're holding this together, and I'll see you on the moon. You know what I mean? So I don't really give a shit what other people think.
There's I do care about what you think, because I like, well, one, I like your predictions, but two, it's just another person like, hey, I like this for these reasons, and something that maybe I had thought about in passing, but definitely had never verbalized up until you mentioned it. I think in either a video or on a Telegram thread, where you said that there's a real chance that Tom eventually gets a Nobel for this sharding technique, for all this technology that he's put forward. Can you go into that and how you thought of that, came up to that conclusion?
So this is a fundamental and paradigm shift in the way business is transacted. We're in a digital age where the world is going to behave differently. We are literally months away from 24/7 trading. We're already talking 24/7 trading. We've already talked about this paradigm shift. You're already seeing the European Union start to fight back at blockchain because they don't want 24/7 trading, because they don't have control at that point. You're already seeing the power structure starting to crumble. And like, what do? First they dismiss it, then they fight it, then they accept it. Okay. So what happened at first? JP Morgan, European Union, everybody. You're not going to trade crypto. You're not going to do anything with crypto. You're not, no. Gary Gensler, you're not going to trade crypto. You're not going to do any of this. Everything's a scam. First of all, they dismiss it. Then what happens? Then they start fighting you for it. Then they realize it's inevitable because everybody else starts to come in. Your Anthony Pomplianos came in. Your Robert Kiyosaki's came in. Your Anthony Scaramucci's came in. And then you got the big dick started to swing. You got Elon Musk came into Bitcoin. Then you've got Michael Saylor came into Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden, Jamie Dimon's like, crypto's not so bad. We're going to offer it to our JP Morgan people. First, they dismiss you, then they fight you, then they accept you. And that's what's happening right now. We're in the acceptance phase. Now that we're in the acceptance phase, how do we grow and how do we become global? Instantaneous settlement, perfect safety and compliance. Those are the two things those are the two technologies that people need in order to take this to that level. Instantaneous settlement is a requirement and a mandate for something like this. So you're going to have, boom, instantaneous trading. DEVVE is the only person that does that right now. Okay. Then you've got the security. And again, I don't understand the fundamentals of that security on how you click the button to make sure that the transaction was okay and approved and how you've authorized it or any of that. So I don't understand that yet, but in testing, they understand it. They're super excited about it. And so is their partner, who, again, I believe is NASDAQ. They don't have a problem with it either. So they've got some pretty smart people who spend a lot of time trying to poke holes in shit like this. And guess what? They're not poking holes in it. And if they are poking holes in it, it's not holes that are big enough to say it's not going to work. It's going to work. Now, that being said, this is a new paradigm shift in the way all business is transacted. And at the root of it is Tom Anderson. How do you not give him a Peace Prize for that?
It's a great point. That's someone clip that. When it's over, I'll let you know. Is that from an hour 45 to an hour 47? Chuck that into your next video. Download. So I am going to talk to you off camera for a little bit, but as of right now, publicly, is there anything else I wanted to say before we tell everyone bye-bye to Dashi?
Nice. If you guys don't buy DEVVE, it's okay. You're not going to get rich off of it. That's fine. But you should at least take the time to read up on it, to look into it, to decide if that's the investment vehicle for you. Don't dismiss it. Don't say, well, I'll look at it later. There may not be a later. We don't know when this announcement is going to be made. Randy thinks it's going to be in December. It could be tomorrow for all we know. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen. You owe it to yourself and your family to at least look at it, decide for yourself if you think what we're talking about is real. Make an investment, even if you've only got $100 right now. If you put $100 in right now and it does what I say it's going to do in a conservative manner, which is 5 billion market cap. If it's going to do that, that's 127x. So your $100 is going to be $12,700. Okay, that's the way that this works. And if you don't make $1 million off of DEVVE and you make $12,000 off of DEVVE, guess what? Go buy yourself some Bitcoin. Turn that $12,000. Don't buy it now. Buy it on the dip. But You know, let it run up another 6 or 7x. Suddenly you got $70,000 or $80,000. And then just go find that next big gem and start making your money. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you have to do. If you can buy a little bit every Friday when you get paid, you should buy a little bit every Friday when you get paid for as much time as you can. Grimace on Soul, let me answer that question. They have no marketing. They're not doing any marketing because there's nothing to market right now. All that you're marketing right now is speculation. And I know that sucks because you want it to pump because you would like to make a little bit of money, or you would like your bag to be bigger and heavier so that you feel better about it, so that you can cash out in case you need it or something like that. But why would they be out here pumping your bag for something that doesn't exist yet until it exists? Otherwise, they're no better than every shitcoin out here that's telling you big things coming, big things happening, buy now. You're going to regret it if you don't. They're going to be doing that, right? And they don't want to do that. They want to give you a platform. They want to give you a function. They want to give you a use. They want to give you reasons immediately in which to do stuff, and then they will start to market it. That's really what it comes down to. Marketing to crypto makes no fucking sense at this point.
It's a wasteland of near extinction out there.
Yeah, I mean, crypto is still PvP. So if somebody came in tomorrow with $1 million, and I don't know what the liquidity pool is in Dev right now, but I think it's about $1 million. If the liquidity pool is $1 million and they doubled that, the market cap would probably go up like 3 or 4x, because it doesn't, I mean, like it's not on a curve. So it'll probably go up 3 or 4x. If it goes up 3 or 4x, almost everybody's going to fucking sell. Almost everybody is going to sell because they've been waiting for so long to get that nice big boom. So if it goes to $2 tomorrow, it's going to come back down to 45 or 50 cents because everybody who just made a bunch of money is going to try to play the dip because we're PvP. So there's no reason to do anything until there's a reason to do something. Everything that happens on Dev is homogenous. It's natural. It just occurs because of speculation, because people are getting excited about something, not because they're putting in a lot of marketing money into it, because that's just throwing good money after bad money. That's all that is. So hopefully there'll be a reason to market pretty soon. Oh, by the way, they are doing marketing on CoinMarketCap, but to me, that's not much.
Yeah. It is like month one. They have like a 12-month deal with them, and it's like the first month. So that might get better. And as people go on there, they might see certain things, which is cool. You're right.
They're not going to see it until they look for it, though. And people are going to need to look for Dev. They're going to have a reason to look for it. So the marketing doesn't matter until it matters. And it's the same thing. It's the same paradigm. They've done the minimum amount that they could possibly do on the easiest platform to do it on, just to kind of throw you guys a bone to say, hey, we got something cooking over here. Let's see what happens. But again, it's on you to figure out for yourself. And then it's on you as a community. Go tell your friends about it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you got a friend who's looking for something undervalued, at the beginning of this, I told you that I get interrupted at the gym constantly. Do you know what? Everybody that I talk to there, Dev. Dude, if you don't have any Dev, you're a fucking moron. Okay. And there's a reason for it. And this is the reason for it. This is what I think is going to happen. But you got to figure that out for yourself. I'm not telling you what to do. You're not going to get pissed out on. You're not going to get pissed off of me because you lose money on it. Okay. So if you buy it, don't fucking sell it. You know what I mean? Don't sell on the dip. I had a buddy who did. He bought at somewhere near $1, and he's like, "Oh man, I had to sell it at 75 cents." I'm like, "What are you?
No.
What are you? You got Elon Musk chromosomes? Like, what are you, retarded? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on with you? What is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Whoa, it was dipping. Yeah, you just gave the playing field the money. Yeah. Like, it's dumb." And then he took his money, 750, and he bought at 40 cents, I want to say, somewhere near 40, 43 cents. And he was like, "Well, I got more than I had in the beginning." I'm like, "Good, then you fixed your problem. Now shut the fuck up and stop trying to sell it. Hold on to that shit. It's going to $50. This guy, by the way, gave me SMR. And if you don't know what that is, that's on NASDAQ. That's called NewScale. It is a power company that does nuclear power. They're reopening 3 Mile Island. Yeah, he got me in at $8. It's at $56 right now.
Woo.
Yeah. So he knew his shit when he saw it too.
Good.
He hooked me up big time on that one.
There are definitely people that are going to be smarter than us, and if they were to look into DEVVE, they would 100% go in.
Right, but they don't know where to look. They don't know where to look
about it yet. So yeah, that's what. Anyway, everyone, thank you for being here. Me and Lisa talk off camera. I love you all. Class dismissed. Meow, 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 meow.